And uh, a lot of us younger people and younger than me can really look to her as an example. We have street cleaning, and she's out there. She's cleaning the leaves, she's cleaning her plants. Uh, she's always out there. And if her at her age can get out there and it's still going on, we should be able to do the same. She takes care of her garden. When she was block captain, she made sure that the block ran smoothly, even when people had complaints.
One of the greatest women on the block. I, 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 I don't know what else to say, but I know you still doing your thing, cleaning and going up and down the street, and I'm still sitting in the house 10 years younger than you. Okay. All jokes aside, you're a great woman. Thank you.
Yes, Miss Ruby Grant. I moved on this block when I was 19, and she's always been like a mother. She tried to guide me in the right ways, and she's a very special person. And everybody that know her know that.
One thing for sure and for certain that I can always say about Miss Grant is she is going to make me want to sweep out my front and put some flowers out here. I can come home from work, be done worked a long day, don't feel like doing a darn thing, and there she is over there sweeping her front while my front is looking a mess. And then I don't have any other choice but to get out here and start sweeping with her.
Miss Grant, again, I have nothing but love, love, love for you. It's bringing tears to my eyes. And my grandson, even my grandkids love you. How about that? You got generations of love. There's the Bible. Amen.
Just to think about Miss Grant is just a true blessing and an angel that we see that God has sent us. When I think of Miss Grant, I think of a mother, and she has been a mother to everyone that lives on this block, especially because she looks out for us. I remember when I was going through my ordeal with breast cancer, probably started off with the lung cancer and didn't have it, and how she prayed over me, prayed for me, and just seen me through. With the breast cancer, she constantly checked on me and was here to support me as a mother. And so I felt so gifted and delighted because at that time, it just meant so much to have support from everyone. She kept this block together. And when I mean together, together, I remember on cleanup days, going knocking on the doors, bringing us all out, having things for us afterwards, and just loving on us like no other. I can't express how much love we have for you and how we truly, truly, truly are blessed with God sending down this precious jewel to watch over us. And I wish that your dreams, all of them, get fulfilled and that everything is going your way because I know that God is truly going to bless you.
I lived on a little small street called Oriana, and we had the best of times. Like I said, as a child, uh, I migrated from Greenville, South Carolina. My family moved to Maryland, Salisbury, Maryland, and then we migrated to Philadelphia.
Can you share a story about you growing up in the Philadelphia area?
Okay, I came to Philadelphia when I was 5 years old. I was born in Greenville, South Carolina, and I had a fairly good childhood. I'm an only child, born to Nellie Mae Jackson. I lived in North Philly, which was some of the best days of my life. Uh, Sometimes people have a stigma about North Philly,
Hmm.
but North Philly was fun for me as a child and fun for me as an adult and as a mother and a wife. My husband was a veteran and he bought our home on the veteran plan. And I live on a small street called Addison Street in West Philly. When I moved on Addison Street, it was not predominantly white, but we had a lot of white neighbors. And I remember as soon as it became predominantly black, our white neighbors started moving out. I remember a woman, Miss Presley. She was so funny. She had a wild sense of humor. And the Johnsons that lived next door to me, which is now a flower garden, they were very kind. They received me and my family very well. And then the Parhams, which is the house next door to the garden, my flower garden. I remember his Aunt Esther and his mom and dad, and his name was Philip, one of the best neighbors that one could ever ask for. He would give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. And I remember his Uncle Henry and Charlie, Uncle Charlie. It was a lot of people that lived in his house at one time.
So, growing up and coming up in Philadelphia, raising a family in the city throughout all these decades, um, what were some of the things that you seen change from, I would say, the time you got to Addison Street from the 80s and the crack era to like now?
I saw uh, a lot of violence. I saw a lot of healing, people that were addicted to drugs. I had 3 children, and all of my children was addicted to crack cocaine. But thanks be to God, I survived to see them uh, get clean. The Lord healed them. Some still smoke weed, but thanks be to God, what a difference from crack cocaine. They were slaves, and not just my children, but during that period. I mean, it was so many people addicted to that drug, doctors, lawyers, professional people. And I look at them for what they was and what they is now. They're productive, living their lives, and that's the biggest change that I've seen. I've seen the neighborhood change. We have a community that we care about each other. We call ourselves family
Yes, ma'am.
because that's how we treat each other as family.
Now, I know when I was coming up, you ran the youth group. When did you start doing that, and what made you start doing the youth group with the kids?
Well, I always worked with youth in North Philly. I had a youth group, and I'm still in contact with some of those youth today. And my profession was working in a high risk job that where I worked with youth, giving them a better perspective on what they could be. A lot of parents, they didn't have time to give like one-on-one. They had to work. They had to take care of their families. And so when I came to West Philly, I wanted to work with youth. So formed a youth group, and I would accept kids from, I think, from 6 to about 13 or 14. And then they would graduate and go on to another group for older teens. And we had a lot of fun. Every activity that I was involved in with the youth pertained to education.
Yeah, I was about to get into that.
Yeah,
Uh,
education is key.
with me being a part of your youth group, I remember my childhood, and I remember just going to the art museum for the first time, or going
Hmm.
to Chinatown for the first time, or going on these little trips, and you would take us to all these places, La Villa Orchard, and just all these amazing places that I thank you for. Even down to the Sixers games when we used to go sit in the box seats and we can see all the celebrities and get the free ice cream and all that. And you gave us a new perspective on life, just getting us off the block. Um, Now you watched me grow up my whole life. You seen me since I've been born. You know me. You know my children. You know my mother and all that. What always kept you in that family circle?
Well, I was always grateful for God who delivered me from a lot of things that I was bound with, trying to be a mother, trying to work with the youth on the block, and my church journey. I am a Christian. My church is Beulah Baptist Church,
I was gonna ask you that. Yep.
and I worked with youth in the church, so it's always been geared around youth. I was a assistant school teacher at Fair Hill School in North Philadelphia,
Hmm.
always geared around children. Uh, my son, Tracy Sr., was one of my students, and I remember he was acting out as children do sometimes. He did not know at the time that I even worked at the school, and he was in my class. He was in one of my classrooms. So I embarrassed him in front of his classmates.
What's some of the biggest changes you see in the black community from, I would say, like the late 80s, early 90s to now?
I think the drugs have curtailed somewhat from the crack cocaine, but then there was an academic pills. I don't know the name of all these different pills, but I've seen a change in that. Uh, and some of these pills, they're deadly. You might know the
Yeah,
name of
the
some of them.
Percocets and Xanax and all that
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, some of those. And so I've noticed a change that they've gotten away from crack cocaine. And then I want to say it's a drug that I think basically is used by Caucasians. I don't know if it's fact, but I see them using that drug more so than African Americans.
Heroin?
Heroin and the other one, uh,
Fentanyl?
hmm,
Fentanyl?
fentanyl, but that's not the one. And they're basically in Kensington.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
But anyway, I've seen a change of choice of drugs. Still getting high, but nothing to the magnitude of crack cocaine. So I've seen a change.
So the crack era was like the
And
worst of times for the
the
black
worst of
community.
times for the black community.
Now, my mom ran a daycare. She ran a lunch program during the crack era. You were doing the youth program during the crack era, and now that we moved on from the crack era, and that generation has either died off or got sober, and it's changing because you barely see crackheads now. Um, what
Yes,
kind of what what kept you strong through all those years?
my faith,
Okay.
my faith.
Hmm.
And the children. A lot of the children in my community, they were very needy. I remember a group of children from the 5300 block of Addison and in the 5300 block of Pond Street. Uh, the services that I provided for them, they could not wait to get to Miss Grant's house. It was an outlet for them. It was a teaching moment for them. It was a moment that focused on them personally. It was all about the youth. When their birthdays came around, I would have a party for their birthdays. And like the young man that's interviewing me now, he is like my grandson. Um, I watched him grow up. I watched him become a young man. He has children of his own now, and a good dad, a good son, and I call him my grandson, not my paternal, but he always looked out for me. He never had forgotten where he came from and my involvement in his life, and I appreciate that.
Okay, no problem. What advice do you have for the generation to come? Your great grandchildren or your great great grandchildren that you have coming into this world and into this society, just
M-
as young black people coming up in America. Because I,
My my prayer for future generations of young people is that they stay in school, get an education, which is key. We have a president now is trying to wipe out our history and know your history, know where you came from, uh, stay away from drugs, uh, be involved in, if you have children, be involved in their lives. A lot of young people, they are single parents. It might just be the mother, it might just be the father. And whatever you do, always think about your children before you make decisions, important decisions that's going to affect your children. Don't be selfish, think of your children, because they're the ones that will truly suffer. It's the children. So always stay in your children's lives, know what they're doing in school, help them with their homework, or just be there for them. They might have questions. And a lot of parents, this is old school, will tell their children if they're saying, Mom or Dad, don't do as I don't do as I do as I say. We have to be an example, because they're gonna mimic what the parents do. And so the answer should be, if it's wrong, and they absorb like a sponge, you can't say, don't do as I do as I say, because they're going to mimic you as that role model. And teaching begins in the home before they even get to school. The teaching tool begins in the home. So you got to be careful of what you say, how you say it, and what you're doing, because it might come back to haunt you. Dad, you said such and such a thing, but I saw you doing just the opposite. Always be as honest as you can, be transparent, and that's my advice, because the future generation of young people, that's our future. We're dying out. I just lost a dear friend, as I was saying a while back, the Parhams, Philip. He was a dear friend, and I miss him dearly. But I know that we're just passing through. We're all going to leave this planet one day. So as an individual, as a human being, do all that you can, pardon me, to enhance the lives of young people.
Last question. If you can go back in time to your younger self, what would you always tell yourself?
If I could go back
In time.
in times,
To talk to your younger self.
what would I tell myself?
Mhm.
I would tell myself that I think I have utilized the years that God has allowed me to still be here at 88, that I have did a good job. I used to beat myself up about my children being on drugs, and I stopped that because being a parent, I cared about my children. Two of my children went to private schools. My husband and I knew that the key to education was good schools. As yourself, you went to Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
You wasn't Catholic,
What's
but
Catholic?
you went.
That's so weird.
But you went
Mm-hmm.
because your parents saw that you would get a better education in Catholic school, and I'm supposing that you had to take catechism, or your parents had to take it, because that was part of their religion. You had to learn certain things in that Catholic school.
Yeah. I took theology class and all
Yeah. But so I think, as I look back on it, I think I was a good parent. I think I was a good role model in the community. I left the community for a couple of years. I moved to Missouri, where my two daughters reside, Crystal and Ebony. And I stayed for a year, my mother and I. And I remember Addison Street gave me a big party. And all the youth, in fact, I have pictures of that. All the youth was in the background, and we had a journalist. I forgot his name. Tyree Johnson. He covered everything that Addison Street has ever done. And God rest his soul, he's gone now. And he would cover anything that we would do. He would cover that in his weekly newspaper. It was a community paper. West Side Weekly, it was called. And I was proud of the fact that I represented this community for 35 years as a block captain and was responsible for winning several awards.
But
I'm proud of the fact that I contributed to the youth. I contributed to the beautification of our community. I contributed to gain the respect of my neighbors. A lot of the young people, they call me mom or grandma. Basically, they call me grandma. And as a woman of faith, a woman that is 88 years old, I've seen a lot, I've did a lot. And so I'm proud of the gifts that God has given me to prevail for 88 years.
as a member of your block and a member of your flock
Hmm.
and your block congregation, we thank you. We love you. We always love you. I wanted to do this interview with you for a long time. I finally got the equipment and I had to rush it because
I think it's wonderful. And it just shows the level of love and appreciation that you have for the women that you have named. And Mr. Phil, he was indeed a good man. And it's just unfortunate that the Lord took him, but everybody remembers him. They know what he stood for. And Miss Sharina, the people that you have chosen have truly been pillars of this community.
and of my life.
I
Yeah.
thank you for doing this. Who would have thought that it's like you're a journalist doing interviews of people that you feel is important? I think it's important because to showcase all the things that we were involved in during your lifetime. I don't know, and we had a lot of children, a lot of programs that anyone has even thought about doing it. I think you were just absolutely perfect in your questioning. You were very professional. And who knows where this might lead?
Yeah.
You know, God has a plan for our lives. Uh, Before the foundation of the world, He chose us. And so He has a plan for our lives. Who knows where this might lead? You know, it might be a lasting career for you. You've experienced and working different jobs, But this, like I said, you were professional. The questions that you asked, I think, was right on time. And I love you. You're like a grandson to me. You're always around when I'm coming from church, when I'm not in church, to assist me in any way that I might need help. I appreciate you and I love you.
I love you
Thank
too,
you
Miss Grant.
so much.
Thank you.